chauffeur parlor for their town.
Good afternoon, I'm Shelly Monahan. To rain or not to rain? That's the question.
I'm Christine Hansen. Coming up in sports, Hoops for Kids, a program where you can help score points as a big brother or big sister. One of our guests today is an allergist who's going to predict the trouble spots for our viewing area to target allergy season outside of our noses and our heads.
That's right, it's a big area to cover. The other guest today is a dessert chef who is going to prepare before your very eyes a very rich chocolate pâté. The noon news is next.
On the next Donahue, Israelis versus Palestinians.
What is going on in Israel, and what is your position regarding this?
Israel has, for 40 years, as you know, Arthur, tried to make peace with an unwilling and enemy which says no peace, no recognition, and no negotiation.
Unless you start talking to your enemies, there is no possibility. I don't remember...
You got to drag them to the table?
Oh, wait a minute.
The Middle East conflict, Wednesday at 4 on KCRA TV, Channel 3.
The A's meet the Mariners in Seattle tonight at 7 o'clock here on Channel 3.
It's 12 noon, and you're watching KCRA TV, where the news comes first. This is Channel 3 Reports.
At this moment, we are told that firefighters are cleaning out the South Sacramento blaze that has killed one person. The fire started just about 40 minutes ago. We're told that 4 other people were in the burning home. The address is 2171 48th Avenue. Crews have rescued the people. They're now being transported to the hospital. There apparently are 18 firefighters on the scene. No word yet on how the blaze started. We do have our live camera 3 unit on the way, and Kim Casey will have a report for us a little later in the noon show. Also in the headlines overseas, speculation right now that the Kuwaiti Airlines Flight 422 may be getting ready for another flight. Reports from Algiers say the jet has been refueled even as negotiations continue to resolve the hostage crisis. The hijacked jet landed in Algeria early today after 5 days on the tarmac in Cyprus. Jonathan Mann has the latest.
A routine commercial flight from Asia to the Middle East is in Africa today with a flight plan set by fanatics. Kuwaiti Airlines Flight 422 has set down in Algiers more than a week after it originally left Bangkok headed for Kuwait. The plane was allowed to fly to Algiers from the airport in Larnaca, Cyprus as part of a deal. The Shiite hijackers who have killed 2 hostages agreed to release 12 others. In return, they got fuel and permission from the government of Algeria to land in its capital. In the hours since the landing, the Algerians have been trying to end the hostage-taking. Algerian negotiators have twice gone aboard the 747, but there's no indication that the hijackers have given up on their main demand, that Kuwait free 17 terrorists being held in its prisons. And Kuwait has continued to insist that the 17 will not go free. So the 2 sides have staked out their positions. Neither the hijackers nor the negotiators are in any hurry. Neither wants to force a confrontation. Local authorities have agreed to refuel the jet. Fuel trucks have been brought into position under the jumbo jet's wings. So many airports have refused the jet permission to land that it's unclear where the hijackers could even hope to fly.
Meantime, PLO leader Yasser Arafat has joined the chorus of those saying that Iran is behind this hijacking. He spoke by phone from North Yemen with CNN's Steve Schatz this morning, and Arafat says Iran is in fact involved.
According to my first information, they are behind the whole operation.
And where did that information come from? Will you elaborate on that, please?
It is better not to mention now for the safety of the crew and the passengers. But after that, I will give the full information to the Kuwaiti government, and they are free to release it or to declare it or not.
We're also told a leading Kuwaiti newspaper is claiming today that 2 of the hijackers boarded the aircraft at Masad in Iran, which was the first stop the jet made after it was taken over.
12 hostages were released before the plane left Cyprus for Algeria in something of a good faith gesture. One freed hostage is a naturalized American born in Egypt. He, by the way, was hiding his citizenship from the captors in fear of his life. The morning after they were freed, the 12 hostages in Cyprus were more than ready to go home. Some were too busy to talk with reporters, others too shaken but some were eager to describe their 8 days as hostages.
All the time, kill you, kill you, kill you. Stop talking, kill you. Not eating, kill you. Not drink, kill you. Sit down, kill you. I don't know. They are nice people. This is was very good, but to kill somebody, I can't imagine.
Well, the doctor who treated the hostages say they were in reasonably good condition, all things considered.
All of them, and we believe from the stress and the long stay in the plane. But right now they are getting ready. They rested through last night. They had good food, and we believe in a couple of days they will be okay again.
Kuwaiti Airlines is sending another jet to Cyprus to fly the group out, but before they can leave, all the hostages must give statements to authorities. Elsewhere, tensions are rising in Panama today following a second shooting incident involving intruders and Marine guards at Howard Air Force Base. There were no casualties reported as a result of this latest exchange of gunfire that happened last night. The intrusion occurred at a fuel depot. In fact, it was the same facility where a Marine was accidentally shot and killed on Monday. Officials say that the victim, Marine Corporal Ricardo Hermosa, was investigating a suspected break-in when he was shot.
The incident occurred after an apparent intrusion by 6 or 8 individuals into the tank farm area. U.S. security forces patrolling the area had split up and were in the progress of rejoining when a trip flare was set off, sounding like gunfire. In response, the 2 elements of the patrol fired, and 7 rounds were discharged before the on-the-scene commander ordered a ceasefire. Initial indications are that the gunshot wound was not the result of hostile gunfire, but rather the result of the crossfire from the U.S. shots fired.
U.S. officials believe that the intruders may have been part of Noriega's Panamanian Defense Force. The same group is being blamed for last night's firefight, the 2-hour exchange in which no injuries were reported on either side.
Back to news from Northern California. By the slimmest of margins, in fact by just 2 votes, residents in the Sacramento river town of Rio Vista have approved a controversial ballot measure allowing a poker parlor in their community. Ken Pierce is going to have a report for us momentarily. We'll tell you more about the issue. With less than a week before the New York primary, Democrat Jesse Jackson is meeting with Governor Mario Cuomo today. A scare for Jackson last night as Secret Service agents grabbed a man with a gun at a Jackson rally. The man turned out to be an off-duty corrections officer, and he was authorized to carry the weapon. One cameraman who witnessed the incident described it like this.
There's a guy who came past me, leaning down, the back of his coat split open, and there, tucked in behind, under his, near his belt, was a gun. And just as I saw that, the Secret Service man grabbed him.
Jackson was escorted back to the stage after the man with the gun was questioned, and then Jesse Jackson finished his speech. Vice President George Bush is making the rounds today in New York as well. He is all but assured the Republican nomination, and he's going after the black vote in the Big Apple. Early today, he talked about the drug issue.
The problem threatens not just your city, but every city in this country. And it's eating away at the basic fabric of our society. It has an impact not just on crime, but as we saw from the AIDS Commission report, on the health and productivity of our people, from our schools to our offices to our factories.
Later today, Mr. Bush will meet with high school students in Harlem.
The group of renegade Assembly Democrats known as the Gang of Five is making it clear that it's out to reform the legislative process. The group attended a breakfast meeting for supporters of Assemblyman Gary Condit in Modesto this morning, and Channel 3's Bob Weedman was there.
The 5 Assembly Democrats entered the room and began shaking hands with the people in the crowd. This was the first meeting of Gary Condit's Breakfast Club, which he organized in order to communicate with the people in his district. The Gang of Five say they banded together as moderate Democrats seeking to dilute the power of the Speaker of the Assembly.
Our message is not that the Speaker of the California State Assembly, Willie Brown, is an evil man, but that the Speaker of the State Assembly of California continues to perpetuate a system which allows evil to continue and frustrates the conduct of public policy. We've invaded people's comfort zones, and they don't like it. But we didn't go there to get people to like us inside the Capitol. We went there to represent you and our districts, and that's what we're going to do.
Rusty Arias, Chuck Calderon, and Jerry Eves are the other members of the Gang of Five. Each one spoke of their commitments to their constituents in the district, not to the leadership within the political party.
But we don't want to focus on personalities. This is not about personalities. It's about issues. It's about leadership, and it's about a vision for California. And we think the current leadership has got to get with the program.
The Gang of Five say they'll win the battle because they have the support of the voters. In Modesto, I'm Bob Weedman, Channel 3 reports.
In other political news, the beat goes on, at least in Palm Springs, where Sonny Bono is humming the beat of that happy tune today. Bono's now the new mayor-elect of Palm Springs. As a matter of fact, he trounced his closest competition by a 2-to-1 margin in the city's mayoral election last night.
Somebody told me that it took Sonny Bono to shake up Palm Springs. Did you shake up Palm Springs?
I think so. I think I really shook him up. I think it started out as a big joke, and I don't think they expected that I was serious when I said I was going to come at them. And I think they're, I would imagine they're totally surprised right now. I don't think they thought I would do it, but don't make the little guy mad.
Bono's victory came just one night after his former wife, Cher, scored her personal best, an Oscar. By the way, Bono will be officially sworn in to office next Tuesday.
All the critics are predicting wins for both of them, I think. Shelly Monahan has the midweek weather outlook for us. Rain on the way, maybe? Well, at least the clouds. We'll talk more about it.
Also ahead in the news, Senate hearings underway on Capitol Hill on the protection of dolphins and the tuna harvest. That story coming up.
When you have an emergency, you want fast help. So, when your sewer or drain clogs, call Roto-Rooter.
Come to the Nugget, Reno's favorite place to play. Come to the Nugget, the perfect getaway. Hear the music, come and play. Feel the action night and day. The perfect getaway. It's like that's here to stay. The perfect getaway. Just for the Nugget.
You want to know what Think Big means? Well, I think it means big savings. Listen, I used to run all over town hunting for low prices. Now with Albertsons, I save on everything I buy.
High C fruit drinks taste great. Only 89 cents for the 3-pack. Roman meal bread, just $1.29 for the large size loaf. And Hills Brothers coffee, $4.59 for the 2-pound can.
I don't have to chase low prices all over town. Not with Albertsons. That's thinking big.
Albertsons. We think like you do.
Floors to Go salutes the American floor covering industry with a star-studded, spectacular sale event. Floor covering made in America is your best buy, and Floors to Go makes it even better with extra savings on America's finest. Save 20% on selected Mannington Never Wax floors now at Floors to Go. Mannington Never Wax has built-in shine. So throw away your strippers and polishes at Floors to Go and save 20%. Pay nothing down with approval, up to 36 months to pay. No payments for 90 days during the Salute to America at Floors to Go.
Today's weather is sponsored by the Nutrisystem Weight Loss Program with 18 Northern California centers.
In the weather today, not exactly April showers, maybe what, April sprinkles?
Drops.
April drops.
Bringing it down to drops. Actually, the big question is, now that we have the sprinkles going on out there, are we going to get any measurable rain out of it? There's a very good chance in the next 24 hours, folks. Very unstable conditions, and we could see some showers off and on. So keep the umbrella out just in case you haven't washed your car yet today. Could you please go out and do it? That'll help. Let's go ahead and take a look at the current conditions. We are going to be on the cool side. This week is bringing us just a little bit of everything. Monday, we started out with a record high of 95. Today, we're going for a high of about 67. Currently now 62. Winds from the south at 8 miles an hour. We will have gusts up to about 20 today. Stockton 62, 63. There you have it in Modesto. Today we are looking at partly cloudy skies off and on. We have had some sun breaks, then the sun goes away, clouds move in, and we see some scattered showers. There's also a good possibility of some scattered thunder showers over the mountains a little later on today. High temperatures pretty much staying in the upper 60s. Here's how things are looking across the entire state today. You'll notice scattered showers not only here in the northern end of the state, but down into parts of the southern California area. Winds also very, very much on the gusty side. So just what is in store for us after these showers pass by? Are we going to start to see more rain or more sunshine? Well, the satellite map's going to explain it all for us. You're going to see two different things. We have a frontal system moving in from the tropics. Now, that is what is giving us the showers right now. You can see how it's broken up, but still is filtering a little bit of precipitation into the area. Behind the tropical low, we have an upper level low moving out of the Gulf of Alaska. As this one moves through in the next 12 to 24 hours, we'll see those showers on and off again. Behind the low, a ridge of high pressure is building, so sunshine for a couple of days, but it doesn't look like that ridge is going to be very strong. Who knows? We could see more rain in a 6 to 10 day outlook. Let's check tonight's forecast. We are looking at cloudy to partly cloudy skies to continue. Scattered showers. Remember, if you're headed up toward the mountain areas, they're looking at a good chance of some thunder showers. So fire danger is going to be up along with those winds. Take it nice and easy. We're looking at winds here in the valley from the south-southwest up to 20 miles an hour. Overnight lows a little bit on the cool side. Tomorrow, cloudy skies to partly cloudy skies, the same type of weather pattern, although I think we're probably going to see less of the sun tomorrow. Scattered showers continuing, highs in the mid to upper 60s and very low 70s. There you have the extended forecast. We have about 24 to 36 hours of instability. On Friday, those showers will be pretty much just over the mountain areas. Then that ridge is building for about 2 days, and we'll be back up into the upper 70s and low 80s. But right now, all indications are saying the 6 to 10 day outlook is calling for more rain, so keep your fingers crossed. This weather segment sponsored this afternoon by Nutrisystem.
Hi, I'm Peppy Schroeder, and this is my husband, Rudy.
Together, we lost over 100 pounds on the Nutrisystem weight loss program.
I lost 65 pounds.
I lost 36 pounds.
We ate delicious food, learned healthy new eating habits,
and got great support.
Look, 2 years later, I haven't gained a pound, and he's not going to either.
Get 3 weeks of service for just $49 with 18 Nutrisystem centers in Northern California. Check the white pages for the one nearest you. Call today.
Joe Carcione, the greengrocer, is going to show us an interesting and easy-to-make hors d'oeuvre today. He says it's great as a munchie or as a cooked vegetable.
What you see here on the table may look like brown turnips to you or round potatoes, but folks, what you're actually looking at are jicamas. Now, the jicama is a very, very popular root vegetable in Mexico and Central and South America, and certainly has become very, very popular here in the United States in the past 5 years. Now, you can take this root vegetable, the jicama, and cook it up just like you do a potato. But, folks, most of the time, the jicama is sliced up and eaten raw with a little flavoring of lemon or lime juice and sometimes a little bit of sugar or a little bit of salt. That's down in Mexico. However, up here in the United States, what most of us do is use it as an hors d'oeuvre. We take it, and first, of course, we remove the skin, and then we slice it up or cut it up into strips or into wedges or into sticks, and then dip them into our favorite dip, and you'll find out that the jicama is excellent, it's crispy, and it's juicy. Now, if you buy a large one, and it's too large, and you only use half of it, all you have to do is wrap it in plastic, put it in your refrigerator, it'll keep for at least a week. And another thing you should know, when it comes to hors d'oeuvres or putting the jicama in salads, when you slice it up, it doesn't turn brown, and that's certainly a good thing. This is Joe Carcione, your greengrocer, with your tip for the day.
Tom is at the guest set, and in a moment he'll be talking with a nationally known allergist, an expert who has tips on how to avoid suffering too much during this pollen season.
The ballad of a gentle laxative. When I'm a regular, here's what I do. I take Doxadan because it works when I expect it to. Doxadan, gentle Doxadan, I get no surprises. I feel better in the morning as sure as the sun rises. Doxadan, Doxadan, when nature needs a helping hand, you get overnight relief with Doxadan.
Look for the free dandy deal from Doxadan in your Sunday magazine.
The best advertisement for the Men's Warehouse is a suit properly tailored on a customer. Because when he walks around town and people say to him, "That suit looks great, where'd you get it?" Need I say more? And the reason why we want all customers to be happy is because they are the best form of advertisement we could ever hope to get. Satisfied customers looking good in Men's Warehouse products. That's what we're here for.
Drugs and youth. It's a problem that can only be solved with knowledge.
Scare tactics don't work. Knowledge works.
So don't tell your kids the wrong things. And if you're not sure, go look it up. Go find out.
You can learn about drugs, their symptoms, and the importance of talking with your kids with the help of a videotape now available.
Call this number and ask for Drugs and Youth, the Challenge.
Because knowledge is the first step towards winning the battle against drugs.
Well, as you probably already know, 'tis the season to be sneezing, and I imagine that many of you watching right now have already had a bout with allergy problems already this year. And joining us today to talk about that and how to live with allergies, Dr. Sidney Friedlaender, who is a nationally known expert who conducted some of the earliest research on antihistamines. And I'm wondering, as you look at Sacramento's situation for this summer, do you find that the weather is playing a part in the degree of suffering that people may be facing?
It certainly is, and Sacramento is one of the allergy capitals of the United States. The chlorotrimazole allergy index has targeted Sacramento as being at the peak of its allergy season right now.
And what is the reason why Sacramento is such an allergy capital as compared to, say, Denver or Seattle or Houston?
Well, things grow very, very well here, and so do the things that produce these pollens, the trees and the grasses and the weeds. So you have the ideal climate for plants to proliferate, and they pollinate, and that's the reason for this situation here.
As you look at this season, what do you think are the key allergens that people should be aware of?
Well, right now, the problems are trees. We had a very early tree season here because of rains early in the winter, and then the lack of rain in the last 3 or 4 weeks or even longer have failed to clear the air of pollen. So you have a very intense season, and we have a lot of toxic pollens here. The mulberry, olive, and the almond and walnut are very, very potent pollens.
Now, what do you mean by that, toxic pollen?
Well, they produce more problems than something that is less allergenic. You know, it has a very high sensitizing potential, and they produce a lot of intense problems, so that you have people here that will develop asthma very commonly from pollen, where it doesn't happen in many other parts of the United States.
Because we are, I guess, so abundantly blessed with all this pollen and all the greenery that goes with it. Do you find that one group of pollens is more predominant for people? In other words, are grasses or trees more of a problem than, say, mold?
Here in Sacramento, trees are the biggest problem. Grasses come next. Weeds are the third problem. So people need to be aware that allergy is due to something, the seasonal allergy, something in the outside air, so that they can do things that will control the problem.
Okay. Now, what do you suggest that people do when they first discover that they're beginning to have the classic symptoms, the itchy, watery eyes, the runny nose? What's the first thing they should do?
Well, the high index of suspicion should make them be aware that controlling the environment is the first thing. If they can stay indoors in air conditioning, that'll help. The second thing is to take advantage of the over-the-counter antihistamines that are available, taking one about 20 or 30 minutes before going out of doors, selecting a drug like chlorotrimazole, which produces less drowsiness than Benadryl. If they don't get enough relief, they should consult an expert. An allergy specialist can give them much more help.
I guess one of the other things, as you pointed out, is trying to avoid the exposure. And here we have lots of folks who are joggers, like to get up early in the morning and go out. Is that perhaps maybe a problem?
Well, you've hit that point, because the plants tend to pollinate more in the morning. So the joggers should jog in the evening.
If you can.
If you can.
What about those masks that people sometimes wear?
Well, that will help.
Will that really filter out enough?
Well, it may not filter out enough, but it will help. Anything that really blocks the pollen to the respiratory tract will help.
Okay. Now, let's also talk about the degree of use of antihistamines. There seems to be some concern that people feel that perhaps using an antihistamine over and over again is not healthy. Is that true or untrue?
Well, the over-the-counter antihistamines have had a 40-year record of safety and of efficacy. That's why they're allowed to be sold over-the-counter. So they are safe. One needs to follow directions, and there's no reason why they can't try those. And that's really recommended when you have 1 out of every 5 or 6 people in the area that are having problems. They can't all go to the doctor at the same time. But if they fail to get enough relief, see the allergist or a knowledgeable physician, because there's a whole host of other things that can be done.
I'm wondering, when you travel all around the country and look at all the different pollinating seasons, the different plants, the different geographies, do you find that there's one common misunderstanding that people have about hay fever or allergies?
Well, first of all, it's not due to hay, and it's not a fever. And what they're suffering from is not the common cold, which many people interpreted as they got this summer cold, which gives them a problem. They're suffering from allergy if they have this seasonal recurrence thing.
And if it happens every April and May or June,
I think they can be pretty well advised that that's the problem.
Okay.
And we have these self-help guides, which many people
yes,
might find
we
very
should
useful.
quickly give the address for those if you would like to write for these. And here's the address, 1133 Avenue of the Americas, the 16th floor, New York, New York, 10036. For the self-help guides on allergy. I've had a chance to read them, and they're very helpful.
Yes.
Dr. Friedlaender, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
We appreciate it. Still ahead, as the news continues this day, the mayor's task force on drug abuse is investigating the gang connection to the drug trade here in the capital city. Our Steve Swat will report. Also coming up on the State Assembly, grappling with the crisis of skyrocketing auto insurance rates as the news continues.
Sunrise Mall's anniversary auction now through May 7th. Get an auction dollar for every dollar you spend at Sunrise Mall. Use your auction dollars to bid for merchandise now on display.
Welcome to Save Mart and Food Bank supermarkets and the lowest prices in town. This week, Foster Farms Fresh Fire Legs Family Pack, just 49 cents a pound. Fresh, tasty, coastal-grown broccoli, 3 bunches for just $1. Plus, don't miss Save Mart's first annual Food Expo. At Save Mart and Food Bank, we're open when you need us most, 7 a.m. to midnight, 7 days a week.
The drug criminals don't get the breaks here anymore because one senator made good his promise. Pete Wilson, the new law that helps keep pushers in jail, changed the law so that more money seized in drug raids goes right back into enforcement, wrote the law that keeps drug paraphernalia from being sold through the mails, and his new law cuts off aid to countries that won't help against smuggling drugs. Some just talk. Your senator does something. Pete Wilson, always fighting for California.
Her mother has kept her away from her real father.
She was simply finished with our relationship.
On the Next Hour magazine.
It would have been too difficult for her to deal with me dealing with Victoria.
A single parent's battle for visitation rights.
Simply because he wasn't married to the mother, and the mother was married to another man, even though they were living apart, Michael has been totally cut off from his child.
Now at their new time, Wednesday afternoon at 1.
Activists representing the rights of people with disabilities are in Sacramento today. They're busy protesting some proposed new building regulations that they say would reduce adaptable housing standards. The proposed change is being considered by the State Department of Housing and Community Development. Only 4% of apartments of 5 or more units need to be adaptable for the disabled. The protesters say this will severely limit their access.
So it just totally destroys the concept of integration. It destroys the concept of not having to leave your home if you come into a disability. It destroys the concept of having people with disabilities who are your family or your friends coming to visit you or stay with you. It creates segregation is what it does, just total segregation.
A public hearing is being held at the State Law Library. The California Building Industry Association has proposed these changes. While elsewhere, the state assembly members, inundated with complaints from angry consumers, are spending this day grappling with the skyrocketing auto insurance rates. It is a day-long hearing, but Channel 3's political reporter Steve Swat says that consumer advocates aren't expecting any miracles.
For the better part of a day, state lawmakers are telling us what every Californian with a driver's license already knows.
Auto insurance rates in California are absolutely out of control.
The issue has been building for months as motorists with good driving records get socked with rate increases. The insurance companies blame the lawyers. The lawyers blame the insurance companies. Outside the Capitol, insurance agents and other industry employees rally in favor of no-fault insurance. It's a plan that removes court congestion and thus insurance costs, they argue. The well-financed industry is spending a bundle to qualify a measure for the ballot. Inside the Capitol, a representative from the trial lawyers offers a rebuttal. No fault is a fraud, the material says. Attorney General John Vandekamp, a lawyer, said the state must police the insurance industry, regulating the rates.
Our antiquated laissez-faire system of non-regulation, of blind trust in insurance companies, of special favors for special interests, has failed, and the people want help, and they deserve it.
But the state's insurance commissioner, reflecting the governor's anti-regulation philosophy, argued that won't work.
When you look at regulation of rates and what has happened across the country with the states where government sets rates or approves rates, you will see that over an extended period of time, that has made very little difference.
Both the lawyers and the insurance industry are powerful capital players. Consumer advocate Harry Snyder believes both will be able to protect themselves.
The trial lawyers and the insurance industry seem to feel that they can control what happens in this legislature, and they're unwilling to have their position worsened in any way. That means the consumers will continue to pay unnecessarily high insurance rates.
Many have compared this year's insurance crisis to the property tax crisis 10 years ago. Then, the state legislature did not act in time, and angry California voters approved Proposition 13. This year, no less than 8 separate insurance initiatives have sought space on the November ballot, and a few likely will qualify, again giving an angry and confused public the last word. At the state capitol, Steve Swat, Channel 3 reports.
Orion Pictures says it's going to go ahead with this Friday's scheduled premiere of the controversial movie Colors. That's despite several days of protest in Los Angeles by anti-crime and civic groups. They say Colors glorifies gang violence. Last night, city council members representing all areas of L.A. and leaders of the black community there saw the movie in its entirety at a private screening at Orion. After the show, the head of the Beverly Hills branch of the NAACP recommended the film not be shown in Los Angeles, and others went further to say it should be banned throughout the world.
We're not trying to censor, we're trying to save lives in Los Angeles, and I think sometimes you must go beyond the aspect of holding off and to try to solve problems.
The Crips wear blue and the Bloods wear red, which are used in the movie. Gang violence could or might escalate immediately after the movie is over. Violence could or might occur at the theater. Innocent people could be seriously injured or even killed.
One councilman said he was so outraged by the film that he might go to court to get an injunction to stop its premiere Friday. Orion so far has refused comment. Meanwhile, on the streets of Los Angeles, more gang violence, but police now say they have a suspect in custody charged with one recent murder. On April 1st, 18-year-old David Starr was walking back to his house after taking his girlfriend home. He was suddenly gunned down, the victim of another drive-by shooting.
Bedroom in there and talking, and next thing I know, I heard a whole bunch of shots, and then that's when I came running out the door, and his girlfriend started running to the house, and I opened the door, and then he just was screaming, hollering, "Mama, Mama," you know, and I ran out here. I said, "He shot," you know, and ran back in the house.
Starr was the 89th victim of gang-related violence in Los Angeles this year, despite a recent massive police sweep aimed at ending the killings. His murder comes on the heels of the L.A. City Council's approval of a $4.5 million police overtime pay for anti-gang actions through June. And that figure is $2 million more than the police had requested. Then in Sacramento today, Mayor Ann Rudin's task force on drug abuse presented its final report on what to do about the drug problem here. The task force, made up of community business, education, health, and law enforcement leaders, worked for a year and a half on the report. Recommendations included making schools and closed campuses and increased funding for drug counseling programs. Some community activists, however, were upset. They say no one from neighborhoods that see drug dealing every day was part of the final presentation.
You know, I have actually went out on Fifth Avenue, sit down with a cat that's dealing on the corner and talk with him. And we talk. I sit and I listen to him. I said, "Man, tell me why you're doing what you're doing. How'd you get like this?" "Well, man, such and such and such. I have actually stopped prostitutes on Broadway." And said, "Tell me, how did you wind up here?" Now, the police can't do that.
How about the rest of these people on this
None of them could do that, and I doubt that they would do that.
Folks behind this report admit it's only the beginning. They say it will not be a report that simply gathers dust on a shelf.
Well, turning to medical news now, doctors are testing a treatment that could save thousands of people from having to undergo surgery for gallstones. Channel 3's Mike Boyd says that this technique you may have heard of before, but now it has a new application.
The technique is lithotripsy, and it's been used successfully to eliminate kidney stones. Gallstone lithotripsy works exactly the same way. Instead of removing the stones surgically, doctors shatter them with shock waves.
Increased motion of the stone and appears to be some fragmentation.
The tiny pieces that remain are then dissolved with drugs.
So by fragmenting these stones up into tiny particles and giving this medication, the stones can be dissolved and taken out of the body.
The gallbladder is a small, hollow organ located next to the stomach. It stores bile from the liver and aids in food digestion. Gallstones are most often formed from excess cholesterol. The standard treatment for gallstones right now is surgical removal. It's a complicated procedure that requires a long convalescence.
Well, the average person would be in the hospital after surgery for 4 or 5 days, then would be at home off work for 3 to 6 weeks, depending on the type of work and on the patient.
But gallstone lithotripsy is a much faster process. One 20-minute procedure is often enough to disintegrate a single gallstone. This is how it looks inside the body. The treatment causes mild discomfort at the site where the waves enter the body. But patients can leave the hospital after 2 days and resume a normal life right away. Marcia Hill was one of the first Americans to have this experimental treatment done.
There were 4 stones, and they got 2 of them, so have it done again, and it's nothing I'm worried about at all.
Gallstone lithotripsy is only available now at 10 U.S. hospitals during a test period. Doctors think it will take 6 months and about 200 patients to determine if the procedure works well enough for its widespread use. This is Mike Boyd.
By the way, Mike says that doctors believe this new treatment will be cheaper than surgically removing gallstones. That procedure can cost perhaps between $6,000 and $7,000. Doctors, the lithotripsy probably will cost only about half of that amount.
Now we're going to Rio Vista, where voters had a very interesting question